All right, let's get into it here. Let's do it. Here, yes. And I just record everything that I do. Here. Okay, let's do this. Have the buffer on. Yes, I do. Yeah. Okay, so I have the buffer on. It looks good. It feels good. Everything's good. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Yeah, we'll try our best here to get the raw audio of everything. I'll do Control R, Control S for this one. Okay, let's watch this Adam 22 video.
The show finally came out where Adam 22 would be giving away his wife Lena for the second time. As you guys know, a man named Jason Love busted open like a can of
It's crazy that what he just said was not is not an exaggeration. This is actually what's happening, you know? Yeah.
Biscuits right around the time the leaves changed brown. And now it's time to finally see who's...
I mean, what? Look at this picture here. I mean, Adam orchestrated this shit, you know? Adam put these guys in the room, you know? And let's get the best picture to look like this. It's actually crazy.
Who's gonna be the next dude to get all up in that? Only this time Adam's actually gonna be in the room. We have several contestants here that you can tell that Adam handpicked. And let's be honest, no one is more down bad in this situation than Adam himself.
A group hug.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, he's handsome.
He's pretty.
But see, this is the thing. I think he's playing it up, you know? So it's hard. I think when he first did it, it was more about the money. But then when people reacted a certain way, then he started playing it up to this extent. So it's like, it's hard to tell where it starts and where it ends in that sense.
I'm not gonna lie.
Could you give him a hug? I want to see how you guys look.
But even for satire, I don't know if I can do it. Even for like the joke and trolling, this is not good trolling here. This is bad trolling. Don't do this. You know, I don't know if I should be saying that or that it goes without saying, but don't do this. Not a good idea.
Describe his smell for me. Can I smell like...
He's really playing this up. Dude.
But the contestants drooling over his wife, some of which are Adam's personal friends, as well as the little freaks at home anxiously waiting to purchase this scene, might as well be equally disgraceful. With all of that being said, the quality of this show when it comes to pure entertainment value is much better than I expected. It kinda reminded me of a VH1 parody, and I could totally see this going on one of the more ratchet apps out there like Tubi or Zeus. And I do have to say, I found it very funny that when discussing the reaction to the announcement of this show, Adam had this to say on a recent podcast.
People took the overall concept of it and changed the title to Adam 22 is doing a reality show to find out who the next dude to bang his wife will be. And they like take the part of it being they take that out, so it looks like I'm just straight up like auctioning my girl off. That's been wild, just seeing the people are running with.
Was it fun filming it though?
And I guess
I'm confused. That's the idea I'm getting, right? So this shows you how stuff can get out of hand, because that's the exact idea I'm getting here.
How he would question why people would have this reaction when he's constantly saying things like this.
So why do you think that you're the one to help me service my wife?
You talk a lot about giving young, underrepresented, underprivileged people from the hood a chance. What could be a better example of giving somebody a chance than giving them a chance to my wife?
Adam, you got some psychological shit going on, bro.
May the best man win.
Either way, let's break down the actual show that has aired 3 episodes at this point. So I thought this guy was a YouTube lawyer. He's not. He's actually already an adult star. In fact, a few of the contestants are.
I'm very comfortable with someone's wife while they're there. I've been doing it for a few years now. Please let me wife.
And all of the others were there for strictly entertainment purposes. Meaning I think from the start they really had no chance at winning. This one guy, as a matter of fact, comes in there and essentially plays the part of a mentally disabled man.
I'm a virgin. I was gonna wait till marriage, but waiting for marriage is waiting for your guys' marriage too. So
Would you be down to split a beer while we're...
yeah, I'll have my first beer when we're f***ing her.
Actually, there were 2 of them.
I hope you guys f*** the right way. Because I would have done it. So you guys better do it.
The show might as well have been called For the Love of Embarrassing.
What? Facebook Live. A little bit. I like Facebook Live.
A white man.
Just this morning, I thought I'll do it.
The show might as well have been called For the Love of Embarrassing a White Man.
Just this morning, I thought I was gonna join 2 lovebirds in their marriage, but nope. I got eliminated.
And my favorite person has to be Crip Mac, who is carrying this absolute train wreck.
There's Crip Mac. I'm here. Let you know I'm trying to win Lita's heart over so I can bust her coochie in so like she wants and treat her how she needs to get treated.
He does not shut the fuck up and does not care who he interrupts. And at some point, you just have to respect it.
What if another guy's leg touches your leg by accident?
Sock her in the face. But now we hopping in the Crip blue water and we're gonna have a nifty time. Lena, bring your over here. Let's go.
This dude is completely hilarious, and he was the only one to kind of play a character like this and not make me completely cringe.
Yeah.
And you guys do
You
have
need
to
that for
think
something
that in
like this, like a
Adam's
show
mind,
like
this
this.
has all been a major success, as the series is on pace to get millions of views in
That's
the
what he
first
thinks.
month of its release, and
I
I'm
love
sure there will
Atlanta.
be a lot of little creeps purchasing the film. At the end of the day, we already understand that money and attention are the main motivation when it comes to Adam. And you guys do not want to be aging like this man Adam's career. That's why I'm once again teaming up with Teach Hanley for the sponsor of today's video. Back in the day, I would try and take care of my skin, but I never really knew what I was doing. Various washes, various moisturizers, it was all very confusing. But with Teach, they make stuff for them before you go to anyway. You will know what you guys so pretty hot. Click that link down below and take better care of yourself today. So Adam is still doing the cuck thing.
Do you come to any conclusions while I was gone?
They're all
What a
pretty hot.
sentence. What a sentence. Adam's still doing the cuck thing. Crazy.
I'm gonna go kick my feet up, take a nap. Make sure you guys treat my lady right in this hot tub, all right?
I'll text you when we're done, okay?
They actually disrespect him multiple times, both to his face and when he's not around.
And I look at Adam and I'm like, he definitely can't be hitting that right. So that's why he called me here.
Don't listen to no zesty.
What? Zesty? He just called me Zesty.
I heard that.
Adam, thank you so much for almost letting me your wife.
He's even being a metaphorical cuck when watching them from a secret camera from another room while the contestants try to impress her with their circus animal antics. On these dates, Adam is feeding words into her ears like he's Tate talking to those men.
Ask Crip Mac to demonstrate his eating technique. That's a good idea. We should definitely have him go measure his for you. Can we get all of them to demonstrate their stroke?
Can you guys demonstrate your stroke abilities? So you can show me. Oh, that's your stroke?
Only in this situation, they might actually get to smash. Other than a couple of irrelevant elimination events like knowing peen facts,
I just have no idea what's going on with in other countries, you know?
and doing push-ups and tug-of-war, there's really not much going on besides a bunch of men lusting over the grand prize, Adam's wife.
I'm closer to Lita's coochie.
I just feel like after this show ends, sometime years in the future, everyone involved is gonna need some sort of extensive therapy. At least these guys are really just there to raise their social profile or to get a bag. For Adam, it's one thing to see his wife on camera with another dude like with Jason Love.
You know you're still not over the first man your wife.
How am I not over it? I haven't thought about that in weeks.
It happened months ago.
The first month might have been hard.
But to see it right there in front of you with his own two eyes, Sneeko style, has to hit different. And it looks like it's once again going to be a Jason Love-esque man to get the job done, with yet another white man falling down to his knees in the process. This was really just Adam's older brother. And for the most part, the show is pretty predictable. They even decide to bring a ringer in on the show.
Planned a surprise for Lena. We had my friend Alex Jones show up in the middle of the whole thing, and I figured this is one of the best talents that we've worked with in the adult industry. I've seen him lay it down before, right in front of my very eyes.
And they did this after, I guess, either Lena or Adam didn't like either of these guys enough. I mean, this has to be one of the most out there productions I've ever seen in my life. And something about it is just so deeply sad to me.
Finally come to a decision, and the person who's gonna my wife is...
Like, producing this about your wife is wild, but she loves it, so why not?
You guys stop. I'm gonna want to pick all of you. If this was a thing, would you all participate?
Who could forget this generational trilogy that only rivals that of The Godfather? Volume 1, 10 men compete for my wife. Volume 2, I walked in on my wife with 9 guys. Volume 3, I caught my wife with 6 guys in a hot tub. I will say, for what he is doing, Adam is putting on a clinic in independent marketing, and at this point we are down to the last few potential suitors for this thrashing. So we will continue to see where this goes. Adam, if you're watching this, come on man, we know you're gonna be with Jeffree Star on the next season. Some are even suggesting that Dwight Howard might get thrown into the mix, talking about For the Love of Adam. Either way, I want to know what you guys think about all of this down below. But as you guys know, it's been your boy the Tan Superman, and some other crazy ass people out here need to be covered, so I'm out. Peace.
What's up, ladies?
I feel dirty watching. I honest to God feel very dirty after this. Like I don't want to watch any of this stuff anymore. Let's get something wholesome, something fun here that I can watch. All these are very negative videos that I'm watching. Here's what I'll do. Okay, close that. Let me just check my OBS here. Okay.
Would you ever have Tate on your podcast?
It's a conversation, right?
Then Joe Rogan was talking about us. I think Joe and I, at some point in the future, are going to have a nice, long conversation. I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very interesting time. It's probably the only thing I'd bother traveling to America for. So I look forward to getting in touch with Joe again. We were talking on Instagram before my Instagram got taken down, but I have other routes to get through to him and talk to Joe. So I'm really excited to get.
When Patrick bet David...
Would you ever have Tate on your podcast?
Okay, let's see this. Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan. Let's do this.
Would you ever have Tate on your podcast?
It's a conversation, right?
Then Joe Rogan was talking about us.
Would you ever have Tate on your podcast?
It's a conversation, right?
Then Joe Rogan was talking about us. I think Joe and I, at some point in the future, are going to have a nice, long conversation. I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very interesting time. It's probably the only thing I'd bother traveling to America for. So I look forward to getting in touch with Joe again. We were talking on Instagram before my Instagram got taken down, but I have other routes to get through to him and talk to Joe. So I'm really excited to get.
When Patrick Bet David went on JRE a few months ago, he caused a stir by challenging Rogan to have Donald Trump on his podcast. He even went as far as to say that
he could. I'm very sure Joe Rogan can have Donald Trump on his podcast if he wanted to.
That by not having Trump on the podcast, he would indirectly be assisting Joe Biden in winning re-election. God knows how Biden makes it past Christmas though. Anyway, at the time it was obvious that PBD was fishing for a viral clip, but I remember thinking at the time, don't worry about Donald Trump, what about Andrew Tate? You see, Rogan talks about Andrew Tate on his podcast all the time. He's totally clued into everything happening in his world, and it's obvious that he's following all the latest with Tate's ongoing case in Romania. Now, I understand that Tate has been under house arrest in Romania, as his case obviously continues. However, I saw over the weekend that he made an application to travel to the United States to visit his dying grandma or something. So on his way to the courtroom, he said, "So we're just going to hopefully get some freedom back and go back to America. We want to visit our grandma and just live a normal life. It's been a long time now, been going on for a long time."
I don't think he's going to get that if he wants it. He's not. I don't think he can't even leave the county right now. I don't think they'll let him leave the country until something changes.
And we're looking forward to a conclusion.
Now, from what I've heard, as of Monday, December the 11th, him and his brother are now able to travel anywhere in Romania, but I haven't seen any reports about them being allowed to travel to the US. But already the speculation has mounted that, number one, if he does get permission to travel to America, he'll never come back. And number two, when he's in the US, he should go on JRE. On the Associated Press video on YouTube that followed him to the tribunal last week to hear his application, the top comment read, "A Joe Rogan appearance would break YouTube, just saying." Now, apart from the fact that JRE episodes aren't on YouTube, they are 100% correct. Rogan and Tate face-to-face on JRE would be absolutely mind-blowing, especially after the highly anticipated appearance of The Rock recently that turned out to be a massive train wreck. But here's the problem. As most of you already know, during the pandemic, Rogan supposedly had several controversial guests on the podcast, which he ended up apologizing for and declaring his intention to have a more balanced variety of guests on JRE.
You know, I do all the scheduling myself, and I don't always get it right. These podcasts are very strange because they're just conversations, and oftentimes I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I sit down and talk to people, and that's why some of my ideas are not that prepared or fleshed out, because I'm literally having them in real time. But I do my best, and they're just conversations, and I think that's also the appeal of the show. It's one of the things that makes it interesting. So I want to thank Spotify for being so supportive during this time. And I'm very sorry that this is happening to them and that they're taking so much heat from it.
If you recall Rogan's Hello Friends video, he basically begged for forgiveness and, like I said, committed to being more careful in future. Since then, JRE has become kind of boring. But do you know what? I don't actually think that's the reason why Rogan won't end up having Andrew Tate on his podcast. I think the reason why it'll never happen is a lot deeper than just playing it safe and keeping sponsors on side. So I'm going to explain in detail why Andrew Tate has Rogan by the nutsack and why Rogan has to be careful not to get on the wrong side of the man himself, as well as his massive fan base. And just as a quick side note, the first comment to pick up the Pink Floyd reference in today's video gets pinned.
You know, look, Romania, I don't know what their system is like. I don't know whether they're corrupt. I've heard things, but I don't have any real information. So I'd be talking out of my ass to say, you know, if he really did like sex traffic people, if he really did all the things he's saying, well, I hope that gets proven in court, and I hope he gets punished if he really did that. If he didn't do that, I hope he gets exonerated, and I hope he gets the fuck out of Romania. I don't know. I don't know what he did. I know a lot of what he does is theater, right? A lot of what he does is very like satire. He plays the role of this boastful misogynist who smokes cigars and drives Lamborghinis, and that's his thing. And because of that, he's amassed an amazing amount of money. And he's done it by doing this character, this online persona, but then also says very wise things. He says ridiculous shit, but also says really interesting things. He's a very smart guy.
I've always found it interesting how, like we just saw in that clip, whenever Rogan talks about Andrew Tate, he always plays both sides. It's the funniest thing ever. He starts with the whole, I acknowledge that there are all these allegations.
But
and
I feel like he's sort of playing one side a little bit more than the other, where he could be like on the side of, if he did something, it's, oh, well, if he did it, I'm not sure, right? Which I think is a smart stance. And then on the other side is like, he's very smart, you know? So I think he's playing the praise a little bit more than the put down. But I think it's still like the guy said, I believe it's somewhat balanced.
There's an ongoing investigation. I hope they get to the bottom of everything and the truth prevails. But, you know, he's also said some wacky things over the years. But Tate's a super smart dude.
Yeah.
So whenever Rogan talks about Tate, he makes sure he covers all bases and keeps an open mind.
He's also selling that class.
That's Joe Rogan, you know, that's how he talks. Unless he really has very strong opinions about shit, he's always gonna try to see both sides and do that, you know, which sometimes is a good thing and sometimes is a bit fence-sitter-y. It just depends on the topic.
What is the class? The Hustlers University? What is that? What are they teaching people?
To hustle.
But what do they teach? Are they...
I think it's a couple things. I think that's like drop shipping is one of the main things that they teach. They have different teachers and shit like that. But whenever you audit or try to review it, people will just attack you saying you're attacking Tate. So it's hard to get a very unbiased opinion about the Hustlers University thing. And I think you rebranded it to the Real World or something like that.
The Hustle.
They can quit at any time they want.
It's like $70 a month, and you become a top G. That's literally.
I mean, is that
50
bad?
bucks a
I don't
month.
know. Hustlers University. Experience modern wealth creation.
I haven't looked at this. I didn't know this was.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, this is what he said. Like a
There's
main
so many grifters.
main business.
Secure your spot for just $49 is your last chance to secure a spot.
This is
or
also
discount.
this thing where you see the fucking timer and this is the only time. It's always going to be $49. This is already your first kind of red flag of seeing, okay, this doesn't look legit. This is the same tactics that they use for supplement companies and all these companies that are trying to wheel you in multi-level marketing. I'm not saying this is that, but I'm saying this is not a good look for a company to have or a website to have.
Price.
This weird countdown thing is such a
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my
This-
God.
it was
I only
just
have,
Jamie
I only have
knows.
1 hour, 10 minutes and
1
36
hour.
seconds to sign up.
Yeah.
That's going to be 147.
Jesus,
if you don't make your
enroll
decision
now, Jamie. You've
Enroll.
only got
Right.
an hour
Let's
before
take
this
the class.
podcast.
Go.
Enroll.
Joe and Jamie know.
Let's enroll. Let's enroll. What do we have to do? Click on that. Enroll now.
Okay, that was actually pretty funny. But even though Rogan was laughing at Hustlers University, you can see how he still treads carefully and asks, is that so bad? But then slips up and calls him a grifter. Oh man, that's great. And I should say, keeping an open mind and considering all sides of an argument or all points of view is a pretty wise thing to do, and Rogan is known for doing that most of the time, just depending on the topic, obviously. But I don't think that's why Rogan sits on the fence with Andrew Tate. I think Rogan full-on thinks the guy is a clown, but he would never say that. Instead, he acknowledges
think
why
so.
Tate is so popular and even
That's a
goes as
little bit
far as
much.
to
I don't think
admit
so.
that someone
Joe
like
loves like the hustle culture, the working out, right? Not all of the lame stuff, but he loves the working out and getting people out there. So I think for that, and that's the big thing that people positively state about Tate. And I think Joe is fond of that. But I agree that Joe sees the underlying silliness of the Tate character and the Tate brand.
Tate is necessary. Take a look at this clip from Rogan's most recent podcast
More
with
plates, more
Derek,
dates.
More Plates, More Dates, where they discuss the ongoing phenomenon that is Andrew Tate, but he ends up kind of describing himself.
There's this thing that's going on
Interesting.
where men do not feel like there's anyone that represents men
True.
in popular culture. Like,
And
actual,
even if there is, they tend to be vilified and put down and attacked. So there could be people who say, oh, well, there are people, but then they end up being attacked and villainized in a certain way.
what men actually talk about when they're alone, when men are just hanging out with men and not trying to impress women or trying to not get yelled at, the wild shit they talk about. And, you know, if you can be the most exaggerated form of that, this world champion kickboxer standing there smoking a cigar, making fun of and, you know, that's very appealing to men because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, if you're never going to see that on CNN or NBC, or it's not, no mainstream media platform is ever going to tap into this, what is obviously a lucrative market. Young guys who don't want to be like their parents, they don't want to be like their teachers, they don't want to be like any of these people they see around them that seem neutered and pot-bellied and depressing and talking about equity and inclusiveness, and they're like, Jesus Christ. And then they see this guy and like, oh,
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely inspired discipline and
Yeah.
taking action, and it's like
Take responsibility for yourself.
That's the biggest thing that I think. you
Okay,
say
so like
positive
I
about.
said, Rogan just described himself, or maybe what he used to represent. I can at least speak for myself as a 35-year-old who got into JRE in my late 20s. I was drawn in because I liked how Rogan would sit around and talk smack with his buddies, give their opinions on current events and tell funny stories. He'd have random guests on with expertise in different areas. And for the most part, when he wasn't talking about bears and monkeys or fangirling over UFC fighters or waxing lyrical about the genius of stand-up comedy, it was pretty good content. I used to get this feeling when I was driving or at work or wherever that I was in the room with them. Like we say where I'm from, one of the boys. We're all just hanging out. But now that those episodes are full of brogan comedy brats stroking their egos for hours on end, it's become boring and stale content. So when guys like Jordan Peterson and then
You know,
Andrew
honestly, like I'm like that too. I think I'm not watching the Joe Rogan Experience anymore. But honestly, to keep it going that long, and to have these repetitive topics and then still keep it interesting for that long, it's still something that's very commendable. You know, and he still has the occasional guest on that gets a lot of attention and then ends up kind of skewing different than comedy, fighting, drugs, and bear hunting or boar hunting and all this shit. So I think it's commendable for Rogan to have done that. I mean, it's a crazy big podcast, so you don't need me to say that. But I think topic wise, I think it's really interesting that he can keep it going that long.
Andrew Tate came along, they filled the void that Rogan had created.
I don't think most people understand that this war is coming for everyone. It can't be avoided. You're either going to become someone like me who's fighting against it, the counterculture, or you're going to buy into it and be a victim of it. I don't think any man who wakes up and accepts the garbage that the Matrix tells them, that, yeah, it's okay to be depressed, like we just talked about. Yeah, you should be running around doing perkies and Adderall and consuming porn and sleeping with a bunch of hoes. And yeah, go to school and get education.
Sleeping with a bunch of hoes. That's like his whole thing.
Debt. And then
Or
go
one of
get a
his biggest
mortgage and
things.
get in debt, and then 9 to 5 and just slave away, and you'll be retired when you're 74. It's going to be fine. All the things they push, all the standardized mechanisms that a man's supposed to live his life by, I believe lead to crippling depression and sadness anyway. I don't think that makes anyone happy. So this war is twofold. You can either fight against the system and be its enemy like I am, or you can accept the system, and then you're going to be fighting against yourself in your head.
So that was from George Janko's podcast last week with Andrew Tate, and it seems like Tate is going on a full-blown publicity tour. Now that he's able to travel a little bit more freely around Romania, he's trying to obviously reshape the narrative in his own favor, as expected. But what he was saying there was so interesting because, similar to Jordan Peterson, whether you agree with these guys or not, their brands thrive off division and chaos. It's the us versus them mentality that seems to be dominating politics.
Which, to be fair to these guys, it's not just them driving this narrative. Also the people against them have this us versus them mentality. So I will give them that as well.
More than ever. So I'm going to come back to that in a moment because I just couldn't help myself when I heard Andrew Tate say this on Janko's podcast. Have a look.
This will be dropped. I'm not going to be found guilty because I haven't done anything wrong. But
and if you don't mind me asking, what did they try to pin you for?
They accused me of trafficking. They accused me of using the lover boy method, which is convincing girls by being nice to do a job to take the money from the girls. Because I told 2 of my friends who are girls how to get big on TikTok.
This is what I don't like, is that he misrepresents it in that way. I feel like if you were innocent, you wouldn't just say the lover boy method is being nice. Why lie about that? Why not actually represent what the lover boy method is? And I feel like if you didn't do it, then why not just represent it as the way it is? And that's the one thing that I'm always telling people who like Tate, that I feel like you should represent that in an honest way. If not, then why are we lying about what you're being accused of?
Because I told 2 of my friends who are girls how to get big on TikTok.
That's why all of this happened to you?
Yeah.
That's why. Come on.
So did somebody else plan?
And it's pretty funny that George did this whole interview and didn't look into it, right? If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay. But why would you not look it up before when you're doing this interview? So
this on you?
Oh yeah, the Matrix.
Okay, gotcha.
You got too big. Yeah.
So did somebody else plant this on you?
Oh yeah, the Matrix.
Okay, gotcha.
You got too big.
Alrighty then, using the powers of the internet, let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we?
How much would you give them? Can you give us an idea of like how much money you were pulling on? Because
this is also another thing about the Tate character, is that they can just say, oh, well, this is just jokes. This is just a character, right? This is not what actually happened. And he's just playing up certain factors of his character.
You tweet about guys sending your girls like $1,000, $5,000 in cash just as a one-off.
Yeah.
And I know how desperate guys are. Like, what kind of turnover were you talking? And what kind of percentage would you give the girls?
Okay, so my best girl would do about $40,000 a month.
Oh my God!
And
Sean, we're in the wrong gender.
Maybe.
And how much?
Is it 14 or 40?
40.
Oh, Christ.
Jesus.
And I'd give her $1,000 a week. I'd give her
$1,000. Okay, so that's generous. I mean, that's
so
a
she gets $1,000 a week. She gets free rent. She ain't got to worry about nothing. If I travel or we travel, I pay for everything, whatever. But $36,000 a month I'm keeping.
Wow. And that was your best girl. What was your worst?
Well, bro, I had
the first big money I ever made in my life. I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio. So I had beautiful women sitting on computers talking to guys on webcams from all around the world. That's how I first made my money. And at one point, I had 75 women in 4 locations working for me, which was stressful and the wrong way to do it. I ended up removing my army and going to special forces of around 15 people, 15 girls. And me and my brother made a lot of money doing that. But the PhD course, the degree was teaching people how I managed females in those scenarios, how I controlled their emotions, how I convinced them to work and give me most of their money, how I convinced them to share me with other women, why they obeyed me. So it was never so much about out there picking up girls. It was actually something else. It was more about the psychology of things.
Yeah, nah, I'm sure that's not incriminating evidence at all. I mean, there's only hours and hours of Tate explaining in detail.
That's just the only thing. People will always say, oh, it's not real. It's just a joke. He's exaggerating for the content, which sometimes it is. But I feel like with these overwhelming amount of evidence that you see of him saying exactly what he did, it's kind of hard not to take him at his word for how he got rich with the cam girl business and his steps of recruiting these women and then keeping them in line.
Tell to his fans how to do exactly what he's being investigated for. And just before I move on, I have to point this out for you guys. Remember how Tate said this just before with Janko?
I don't think any man who wakes up and accepts the garbage that the Matrix tells them, that, yeah, it's okay to be depressed, like we just talked about. Yeah, you should be running around doing Perkies and Adderall and consuming porn and sleeping with a bunch of hoes. And, yeah, go to school and get an education and get in debt.
Okay, so the guy who is supposedly saving us from falling for the distractions thrown in our faces every day by the Matrix got rich and famous by exploiting cam girls so he could profit from those very distractions that he is now saving us from. Oh man, that is truly brilliant right there. What an absolute clown. And that's the thing. Tate knows exactly what he's doing. The guy is a walking algorithm and he's got Joe Rogan stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I want people to understand the situation I am currently in. I am the most popular person on the planet amongst the masculine youth, which is the most feared demographic of any country, of any nation. You need them heavily psyoped for a few reasons. One, if a bunch of masculine youth get together, it's not a demonstration, it's a revolution. That's the first thing. If women start complaining with picket boards, it's a demonstration. If masculine youth get together, it's a revolution.
Then you're dangerous because you don't even have a country.
Yes, but not in America. People have guns. In America, people have crazy guns. If women get together, they still have guns. I understand, but like anybody could really fuck shit up with guns. You know, it's I get what he's saying, but it's a bit of an outdated take with the way America is right now, where everybody there's like multiple guns per person in the U.S. per capita.
Correct, all of them. So let's continue. So I have the number one demographic the Matrix needs to psyop. One, because of the revolutionary thing. Two, because you need them.
And it's hard. People can agree or disagree with me, but it's just hard to argue with this Matrix thing because you have to buy into so many like predispositions of what the world is like that I don't know how we can meet in the middle ground of talking about, okay, there are these forces, but they're not as organized and as trying to demasculate men in an organized way. It's hard to find a middle ground to start an argument in that way with people who are really into Tate, you know, which is something I think is important because he has a lot of fans. I'm not trying to make them not fans of his. I just want to talk about this, but it's hard to even have a starting point when these people's starting point is so far off of where we're starting as what I would consider kind of rational people or people who don't see everything as a conspiracy or the whole world government is entire conspiracy.
Force. You need them to build the roads. You need them to do the real work for low pay. They're the backbone of the slave force. They do the worst, hardest jobs for the shittest money, and they're the most depressed and most unhappy, and then women don't want to date them because they ain't got a Lambo, and they're sitting there depressed and unhappy, working their ass off, paying their taxes. You need those men psyoped. You don't want me coming along saying there's another way.
Hang on, didn't he used to make fun of brokies? Now we're apparently the most important people in the world? Man, this guy's playing chess for sure. And that's why he's got guys like Rogan on the ropes and even Derek as well. Just listen to how these guys talk about him making sure to tread carefully and not set off Tate's army.
Everybody does this. I do agree with this. Everybody does this who kind of doesn't have a spine. I think Joe does have a spine. Joe can do whatever he wants, but Everybody does this. Well, you know, is this good here? There's good here. There's good here, and they try to tread
along
lightly.
the way.
It's wild how much content he has that exists from back then that he's so articulate and well spoken.
Yeah.
But when he speaks about it, but then some of those videos are so vulgar and whatnot that
Yeah.
it's hard to. I can imagine the people who are, you know, very hard on him. You watch the old videos, it's pretty hard to side with him when you see those.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also,
And
you
also
gotta
another
think-
thing, it's a little bit, for me maybe, I'll say this, when somebody is so bombastic and saying crazy shit coming up, right? And they clean it up, that's okay. Whatever, right? But when you're completely contradictory before, and then once you have this audience, you say, I would never scam men. I've seen that on the Nelk Boys podcast. I would never scam men. But the whole point of his scam business, he was saying he was scamming men, he was taking their money, he was saying these girls are going to marry them, and making sure to scam them. Explicitly, him and his brother said they scam men. And then now it's terrible to scam men, and these Matrix operatives are doing it. So there's a lot of contradictions there that seem like just because you got popular now and you know your audience, you know what, where your bread is buttered, now, okay, let me try to appeal to this audience more and try to clean it up.
Think of what a person like that is trying to do when they're first getting attention. You're trying to be as outrageous as possible to get as much people to think about what you're saying and talk about what you're saying and engage with it.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to be like a character, an over-the-top, completely arrogant guy who's shirtless with sunglasses on, smoking a cigar, talking about hoes, you know, and pimping hoes. It's like, is it a character or is it really you? And then when you find out, oh, well, no, he actually does run these cam sites and he does have these girls working for him. Okay. But then some of the girls talk and go, actually, he's like really nice and he was kind and he gave me this business opportunity. I wound up making a lot of money with it. And you're like, oh, okay. This is complicated. Like, how much of this is theater and how much of this is like, if it's your real feelings that, you know, these women are subhuman little robot flesh creatures that you just extract money from.
Yeah. Any interactions I've had with the guy before he was, you know, super famous and whatnot, I've always been positive too. Like, super nice guy.
Very intelligent guy.
A lot of people say
super
that.
articulate.
Extraordinarily intelligent.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
you know.
His brother too.
Yeah.
Doesn't get as much credit, but.
You know, they're very, very smart guys.
So here we are, guys like Rogan, Derek, Jordan Peterson, Liver King, Bradley Martin, and the Nelk girls. They have no choice. They can't call out Andrew Tate. They have to sit there like Rogan and Derek and do this balancing act where they say enough to show they're not complete Tate fanboys, but also say enough in the other direction to show that they have concerns about his integrity and his intentions. Now, let me be clear, I think Andrew Tate is an absolute clown. The guy is cashing in on the insecurities and vulnerabilities of teenage boys, and he's so clearly grifting that it's hard just not to sit here and laugh at him. But is he any different to Logan Paul, Patrick Bet-David, or Jordan Peterson?
It's
Don't
all,
get me
it's
wrong,
all,
some of
all
it-
these motherfuckers are the same, okay? All of them are the same. Especially the people going, he's terrible for the youth. You are just as bad for the youth. You do just as much damage. You suck just as much. Logan Paul sucks. All these motherfuckers suck.
These guys have some really good qualities and have made substantial contributions to the conversations that we all have, but they're all just trying to get paid, right? And they know that when it comes to Andrew Tate, their audiences have an overlap. They're preaching to the same choir, so they can't outright call him a clown like I do. As for Rogan, though, I don't think he can have Tate on his podcast at all. Think about how that would go down. It will end up being exactly like The Rock's appearance on JRE. They'll start talking, praising each other. You've done such great work, man. Oh, thank you, bro. How good is gratitude? Yeah, man, I love ice baths too. No way, let's jump in the sauna. Here, have a cigar. You're going to go far. Joe can't afford to create any real tension or ask any real questions and alienate their overlapping audience. But he also can't afford to go too soft on him and get called out by all the same voices that came for his head during the pandemic. It's a lose-lose scenario for Rogan.
Lose.
Tate has him in checkmate. Haven't you noticed in all of Tate's interviews, whoever's interviewing him never pushes back, except for probably Piers Morgan, whose whole brand is pushing back, most of the time anyway. But it wouldn't be any different for Rogan, and that's why I think Joe is so scared of him. It's nothing physical or anything silly like that. It's only business. And when it comes to business, the loudest mouth in the room usually wins. Just ask Conor McGregor, who incidentally has also never been on JRE. Anyway, it's all just so funny how these guys will snooker themselves like this. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about Rogan versus Tate. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider jumping on board so you get all of my uploads right there in your feed.
Very good channel.
And that we live in a system.
Catch you in the next one.
99% of laws only apply to the brokies, and that we live in a system now in the world where most things can be solved with money.
Yeah.
If you can fix a problem with money, either by buying a good lawyer or by paying a fine or by bribing a judge, then you don't have to fear the repercussions of X, right? So what I'm saying is they make a law and the broke people have to abide or they go to jail, but the rich people get to break the law and just buy their way out of it.
Yeah.
So most crimes are socioeconomic crimes. Rich people are allowed to commit the crimes and poor people are not. Look at banks. They commit financial crimes every single day. They make $100 million, they pay a $20 million fine, and they bank the profit. This is normal. So anyway, the point I'm making is you're unique, but you're not important. You need to become important. Once you become important and you become rich, then you can ignore laws. Laws don't apply to you.
Yeah, there's also another thing for me. The last thing I'll say on this is that this is not escaping the matrix. This is just becoming the top of the matrix, or aspiring to be the very top of the matrix. Statistically, very minimal, a small amount of people would be at the very top, would be the ultra wealthy, the people who can get away with this stuff. It just doesn't make sense mathematically, statistically, that everybody would be up there. So it doesn't make sense to have this be the message of escaping the matrix, of acquire all this money, of become the richest, it just does not make sense. There's not enough money to go around for everybody. So that's not escaping anything. You're not escaping anything. You're just in the same matrix. You're just trying to get to the very top of the matrix. It's the same game. You're just looking for getting to the very top of it. So, for me, it's a bad message. It's something that's going to leave a lot of people in bad positions when they don't ultimately achieve that goal.
House. I leave this house, right? I get up. I leave the house. I get out the house.
All right.
I do.
Hold on a second. All right. I is back. I is back. Very good stuff. I like it. What happened? Did I? Second. Replay buffer is not really doing anything for me here. Okay. Looks like I'm back. But I'm not sure. Am I back? Yeah. All right, I'm back. On here, so we can go live. Here. Here. Live video. Go live. Yeah, let's go live. And let's do this. Yeah, I'm not feeling great. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. Okay. Very cool. And we're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Mel time is officially over.
Because I would probably figure out like the basic steps and I would figure out like...
Ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Mel time is officially over.
Because I would probably figure out like the basic steps and I would figure out like how to do everything.
All right, let's find out.
No.
Find out.
No, we gotta find out.
Uh-oh.
No, okay.
Mel time.
Why did I say this?
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Oh, she got the form. Okay, so we're just doing salsa. We're just going.
Yep.
Oh.
No.
Find out.
No, we gotta find out.
Uh-oh.
No, okay.
Mel time.
Why did I say this?
Ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Mel time is officially over.
Because I would probably figure out like the basic steps.
And ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Mel time is officially over.
Because I would probably figure out like the basic steps and I would figure out like how to do everything.
All right, let's find out.
No.
Find out.
No, we gotta find out.
Uh-oh.
No, okay.
Mel time.
Why did I say this?
Mel time. It's Mel
Oh,
time.
she got the form. Okay, so we're just doing salsa. We're just going.
Yep. Right. Yeah?
Yep.
Is that okay?
There you go.
I honestly, people might think I'm wrong, but I don't think this was
This is
anything like
easily
people
one of the
framed it to
worst
be.
clips I've ever seen in my life, and honestly, it just makes me feel bad for Destiny because I feel like this girl Melina was like almost doing this intentionally to like make him look weak or emasculated on camera, but we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. Who are we talking about today? So Destiny is like the most popular, okay, maybe not the most popular, but one of the most popular political streamers in the world. He really pioneered streaming on Twitch, you know, way back in the day in like 2013 when he was really starting out, when he was doing League of Legends stuff. He started transitioning to political stuff, and he's really become the GOAT of online politics, I would say, in my opinion. Hassan's a little more popular right now, I would say, than him, but he's probably not gonna, you know, have the longevity that I think someone like Destiny would have. And Hassan actually started from Destiny's community, as did people like Bosch and Keffels, and a lot of people who do political streaming. Like, they started from Destiny's whole, you know, little community portion of the internet, and he has a very strong community. But Destiny's not a normal guy, okay? Because his life is online, we know a lot about his relationships, and because he's not a normal guy as well, he's in an open relationship, actually, or he has been for a few years, with someone named Melina. Now, Melina is like a Swedish model that he met, I believe, when she was 19 and he was like 30 or something like that.
I don't think she's a model. I just think she's
basically, they meet,
pretty.
they start
I don't think she's
dating,
a
and
model.
eventually they decided to get married. I think they got married 1 or 2 years ago, and the entire sort of concept of the marriage, though, is not traditional, right? Sure, they were together, but they live very independent lives. She's obviously from a different country, so she's not an American citizen right now. He lives in the United States, and on top of living very separate, kind of independent lives, they also have an open relationship, meaning that they see other people. Now, that right off the bat is like, I honestly don't think anyone should do that, and on his streams, Destiny would often talk about how he wouldn't recommend an open relationship to anyone but himself, but it seems like this relationship now has deteriorated. I don't know if it's because of the openness or because of some other factors, but it's definitely falling apart, and this is mounted in Destiny making some posts about it.
Yeah, it's done. It's over. They're divorced. I think
So this got featured on Kiwi Farms. It was posted by D Hugo, so shout out to that guy. It got featured on the community happenings page, and we've got all these messages from DGG Relay, which is basically a bot that relays what he's saying, I believe, in like a chat somewhere. Here Destiny says, I'll have a small convo when I'm back about things. I'm not going to nuke Melina or anything, but the last 2 months and 2 weeks have been a massive mind for me. Watching her become obsessed with a toxic, abusive guy. When I visited Sweden last, he gave Mel an ultimatum to divorce me and then threatened to end his life when she didn't do it, among 20 other abusive and manipulative things he's done, and endlessly make excuses for him. I'm out. Anyways, have fun with movies for 3 days. Good luck. See you on the 9th or 10th. And we actually have a picture of the guy right here as well with a caption that says, I'm not old here. He sort of looks like some sort of like AI generated human being. He doesn't even really look like he's a real human, but I guess this guy is out and about, and he's currently banging Destiny's girl, which is, I mean, I guess Destiny was cool with that from the start, but it seems like it's sort of transcended into another thing where this guy is like, I mean, if you do take a look at him, he does look like the kind of guy to threaten to end himself if
it is that he said he would unalive himself if this girl didn't leave Destiny and go with him, I think, or I think that part isn't clear, but he definitely threatened to unalive himself is what Destiny's claiming.
saying. We don't know that for sure. This is all speculation. This is all rumors. I personally cannot confirm or deny these allegations, and neither can you. But I mean, I'm just looking at the guy, and it wouldn't be shocking to me. I'm just saying. But you know, I used to paint my nails, so I don't really have a lot of room to talk, I guess. Me discovering boundaries was the death knell in this relationship. Sleepy Run. Why? This proves every point I've ever made. Girls can leave you for jobless, manipulative losers if they just play their cards right. Yeah, I wanted a massive therapy session to see if I could express myself better and iron out some boundaries, but it's hard for me to ask for anything if I've been a pushover for many years. So I guess here he's saying he wasn't establishing boundaries. I don't know what those boundaries would be personally for him, considering the fact that an open relationship in and of itself, to me, seems like a bit of a pushover situation. I guess if you genuinely have no insecurity over your girl sleeping with other dudes, like, you're not going to have a problem with that. You're not going to feel like a pushover. But I feel like for any human being who's not like literally a sociopath or psychopath, you're gonna not be okay with your girl being with like other guys. Like, I just can't imagine that. But I imagine Destiny's probably not gonna be in a relationship for a while anyway after this, considering that this one is kind of ending in a fire. Mel just wants validation, and this guy is willing to do anything for her 24/7. He has no job and no life. Everything revolves around her. He changes his sleep schedule when he travels to talk to her constantly. I'll touch on that a little bit, but yeah, the boundaries and everything in my relationship are absolutely insane, but I never complained publicly because I didn't want to make Melina look bad. So I guess that he just wasn't talking about a lot of this stuff publicly because, you know, they're in a relationship, which obviously is a good thing to do. But it seems to me like pretty much everything up that goes on in Destiny's life does come out at some point, just given the fact that he's so public with his stuff. Like, I personally try to have some degree of separation between public life and then like personal life, because like I just don't think it's healthy to have it all out there. But Destiny is someone who, I mean, all of his relationships and falling outs, I mean, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them end up online at some point, because it's just so intertwined with the internet.
It's the streamer thing, right? It becomes like your life and content become intertwined, you know? So, and because Destiny streams like 10, 12 hours a day, it's always going to be there. And it's kind of crazy to see when he did the stream about it. He's talking about, I was going to do a manifesto, like a fucking manifesto on his wife. It's just a weird existence, you know? And then his audience is mad because they don't get the content of the divorce, but it's more healthy for him not to have it on the stream. So it's a weird situation Destiny's in because of how he set up his stream and set up his brand and set up his content when it comes to the non-political shit.
Streaming. And so like a lot of his personal falling outs with like girls or whatever, like what's her name? She actually sent me a message. What's this girl's name? The crazy one. That doesn't, there's like 20 of them. Anavoir, that's her name. Holy shit, how could I forget? Whether it's Anavoir or whether it's Lav, which are girls that I think he banged them while he was also married to Melina. These people just seem to be like toxic leeches on his life, and once in a while they explode and then it becomes like a giant public thing. Another example is the Bob 7 thing, where Destiny had to make like a 3-hour manifesto like detailing why that guy sucked.
That's what people expected, another manifesto
when you're
with
having this much of your life online, a
crazy
lot of these
content.
things are going to be public whether you want them to be or not. I would predict that this Melina situation, whatever's going on, is going to be public sooner or later. Destiny said, I'm fine. This is the last toxic holdover I have from my past. So from here, it's all good for me. So I guess he's saying...
He's been saying that for a while, so I'm not sure about that.
I didn't want to complain because I don't want to make my wife look bad because we're supposed to be a married team, but she has had no problem dumping on me to literally dozens and dozens of people over the past few years. So funny, people saying another Bob 7, not realizing there were like 50 Bob 7s. For context, Bob 7 was a guy that I think Melina was like talking to about like some kind of relationship while she was with Destiny, and then I think that Bob ended up like feeling like he needed to get her out of like a relationship because she was complaining to him about, which I thought was weird back in the day. Like when I saw that, I was like, your girl's like running around talking about your relationship problems to other guys, like even if she's not fucking them, which in that case I think she probably was gonna bang Bob. What is the purpose of that? Like, you're in a relationship, sort it out amongst yourselves, you know? You shouldn't be telling everyone about your problems, especially not like public figures or whatever, right? That's probably a bad idea. The problem isn't the person being manipulative, the problem is the difference in how we treat our spouse. If girls want to get close to me historically, they know the only way they could ever do it was sometimes by exaggerating how much they like Melina, because shitting on Melina or tagging my wife gets you instantly cut out from my life. But for Melina, the way to get closer to her was always shitting on me, because she loved the emotional validation of people making her feel like every single problem in the relationship was my fault. Because I had a toxic problem with blaming myself for every single problem ever in any of my relationships ever, so I figured if something was wrong, it was always on me to fix it. Jeepers, they seemed okay because 3 days ago, before Mel was supposed to leave forever, this guy did something else insanely toxic and horrible. Then Mel kind of warmed up to what I was asking for. Then in a day, she forgave everything again and is now back in it. I told her that her and Oliver needs to be gone before I'm back on. Oh wow, he's actually like kicking her out, like it's actually over. But if they're married, I'm pretty sure that when they get divorced, like she's gonna get a bunch of money. No, I mean, I guess maybe the prenup is like very detailed, I assume. I know Destiny is decent with his money, so maybe maybe the prenup is...
Destiny also stated that he signed a post-nup, so she signed it, so it seems like she's not looking for the gold thing, and she has her own thing. She makes probably 6 figures plus a year, you know, probably mid 6 figures, low to mid 6 figures. She also has a Fansly and OnlyFans now, so that probably brings in good money, a lot of good money.
Super detailed, but
my wife fucks other guys.
If he's in a situation where he has to give her like $1 million, I mean, Jesus Christ. That's when he...
I will say, I watched the Adam 22 thing earlier on stream, and this is, I feel like, way different than that. Destiny, I feel like, never played the cuck role or played that up personally, like other than like jokingly, which I guess what Adam is saying, but Adam's going way too far with this. So yeah, anything for content, I guess.
He gave Mel an ultimatum to divorce me, and then she didn't answer for a few hours. He begged her to come back that night. When she said no, he threatened to commit suicide. Things have been kind of rocky since then. Yeah, Jesus, no, obviously they've been rocky.
Yeah.
This other dude is crazy, bro. I was kind of happy, to be honest. I figured he'd outed himself and Mel would disengage, but she's made more excuses for his behavior than I've ever seen in my life. It's insane. Not even that, he's lied about things she said to friends, lied about things her friends have said, all to cut her off from friends and isolate her until the only friend group left is his. It's all like super standard abuser 101 type shit, and honestly blows my mind it worked so easily on her. Melina's side is the same for every single problem ever. You don't understand. Steven has hurt me so much. There's so much resentment and scarring that I need someone to build me up again. It's always some variation of this. I feel like if you're not comfortable being alone, then you probably shouldn't be comfortable being with people in general. Like, and this is just like a basic kind of fact of life. This isn't like revolutionary, but I think everyone, like, if you want to be good in a relationship, you need to be comfortable being alone by yourself. To like, you know, just like if you have a bad relationship, leave it, work on yourself before you get with someone else, or else you're just going to carry over your problems into the next thing. I would say that's probably what's going to happen. It seems like Melina, at least according to Destiny, is kind of a classic case of not improving anything and just like moves on to the next person, gets validation from them, move on to the next person, and like in her mind the problem is always another person, but in reality the problem is her. And another thing that happened in these DMs is I believe Melina was experiencing some kind of financial tax related trouble and Destiny was going to help her out, but apparently he has now revoked that financial compensation that he was giving for her. So I guess she's kind of going to be.
And this is another thing Destiny I think said in his video is that she paid him back, I think 100K he said, for the visa stuff. So I mean, respect for, you know, shit's not working out, but at least making things right when it's needed to be. So respect for that. And it shows that hopefully, right, for Destiny's sake, she's not, you know, she's not a gold digger in this situation. These are signs that she's not. Again, she's rich on her own, so
screwed pretty soon, which is shocking to me because I thought she made like quite a bit of money from streaming, modeling, but apparently she just was not managing her finances too well, at least according to the allegations. I don't totally know how real that is, but I will say Destiny is not known to lie for whatever faults you may have with him. Now personally, if you want my take on this, obviously it's easy to say that an open relationship is a bad idea. It is probably a bad idea for everyone. For someone like Destiny, he probably just shouldn't be in a relationship, and I mean, he seems to be aware of that fact, and he seems like he doesn't want to be in a relationship right now. But obviously the guy is like 10 years older than me. What advice can I properly give him, right? I mean, he's got so much experience on me. But seriously, like, you gotta stop fucking with these crazy Twitch girls, man. This is dark. This is dark. I've been there and it's dark. One guy in this thread says, I for one am shocked to see such a healthy open relationship fail like this. Now I guess the next thing is just I'm honestly curious to see the memes that are going to come out of this, because there's definitely going to be a lot. One of my favorite videos of Destiny is with him and Melina hanging out, and she feeds him like a little seal, a little puppy. Adorable.
Classic.
Be honest, guys. You know you would feed him. You know you would do it. You would not be able to resist feeding him. We actually have a picture of them right here. You can see a picture of them together, of Melina with this guy, and she is carrying him. She is carrying him like he is a girl.
I didn't realize she was carrying him here. I didn't know this was his legs, but apparently yeah, she is carrying him in this picture.
Dressed in a very, I don't even know what kind of garb. This is. This is just a very dark. This is a very dark image. I'm feeling like psychic warfare being brought upon me from this picture. This is really bad, bro. Melina, you can't be with guys like this. This guy is gonna ruin you. Not that things are perfect, but this is gonna ruin you.
I don't give a if my girlfriend goes and f***s another guy, because I know she's coming back to me at the end of the night. Because we love each other, because I'm cool.
Then we have this video from Sneeko, where obviously Sneeko, considering the fact that he has big beef with Destiny, considering the fact that Sneeko got called a cuck by like the entire internet for 6 months straight, he's now doing his little victory lap, being like, okay, he left you for another guy, blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing. Which to be honest, I don't think Sneeko has a lot of room to really come down hard on people over this kind of thing, all things considered, but he is, you know, he's taking his victory lap a little bit.
Bro, this is Chris from Mr. Beast. Bomboka! Imagine losing your marriage to Chris from Mr. Beast. I can't believe what's happening. Like, she's literally manlier than him. She can beat the f out of him.
Hey, don't you talk bad about Chris, okay? I personally am a huge fan of Chris. I love I love her content, and I think she's a great person, and I think you guys all need to chill out, okay? And fuck Sunny V2, by the way, that bigot. Hey, bigot, leave Chris alone. But yeah, I mean, we just have clip after clip of people memeing on him. I'm more curious to see what the details are going to be from this situation, because we're definitely going to be seeing some sort of memes come out. We're also going to see a lot of info probably come out from Destiny, and if Destiny puts out some info, then Melina probably will put out some info, and we'll probably see some crazy arguing, maybe kind of an Au revoir type situation, and I hate to say that I'm excited for that, but I do like drama, so if it happens, there's going to be a video from me about it, as you can imagine. It's Mel. melt time. It's melt time. Melt time is over. No! Destiny is actually trending on Twitter right now under gaming with 50,000 tweets, and literally every post is just making fun of the fact that the relationship is ending, which, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. The Whatever podcast tweeted out, Whatever podcast predicts Destiny and Melina's relationship falling apart. I mean, I don't think they're geniuses for saying that. I think a lot of people could have probably predicted that it may have ended in flames a little bit maybe, but, you know, obviously it's up to them if they want to continue it. It's their prerogative.
God forbid this happens. Will it be fun if this open relationship ends up causing things to fall apart down the line if one of you guys finds yourself in an entanglement, so to speak, with somebody who you might find a deeper connection with than the other person? Like, if that causes the relationship to fall apart, that probably wouldn't be very fun.
No, it would be horrible, and it would be sad.
Do you guys have a high degree of confidence that your marriage will last for decades?
I mean, I married her without a prenup,
Without a prenup? Dude, no. Are you kidding? I mean, it might actually be over. It might actually, dude. I hope that's a joke or something. I really hope that's a joke because,
like I said before, but I'll say it again. Destiny said that he got her to sign a post-nuptial agreement, so hopefully his money's secured. It sounds like it is, so, yeah. Hopefully this is good for Destiny and for Melina, right? I mean, they're people, so it's obviously content and funny and, you know, open relationship fails, but it's, yeah, have some humanity, you know.
She's about to get like $1.5 million if that's the case. Great. She's just gonna be rich if they divorce. It's gonna be actually amazing.
Have you figured it out? Like,
I feel like we figure out things more and more, like when it comes to like what's a good person for us to hang out and what's not a good person for us to hang out with, or like I probably have more opinions on like who he hangs out with because he likes the psychos.
Yeah, so you like to
he likes the not like the crazy ones, like the baby trap sort of women. That's the ones, and I don't like that because that affects me.
That affects your game theoretically.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit of projection right there, maybe on her part, because maybe at the time she didn't realize it, but she is definitely the crazy person in that relationship. You know, whatever you want to say about Destiny, I think he's probably mentally a sound person, but he's definitely got himself into a bit of a pickle right here. And you know, to any young men out there who have relationships, you know, if you have your perfect sweetie, listen, just say it now. Relationships are cool. Relationships are fun. Girls are a lot of fun. I don't think you should just be a complete, you know, sexual degenerate kind of people. You know, if you find one perfect girl, if you find a girl who you think is cool, you should date her. But just make sure she's the one before you tie the knot, before you knock her up, because things can get pretty dark. You know, I've known people in their youth who have knocked girls up, and turns out they weren't the one. And if they had used a Trojan, maybe life would have been a little better. But they knocked them up. They thought she was the one that kept the kid, and things got pretty dark. Obviously, in this situation, Destiny doesn't have a kid with Melina. That's probably a good thing, I would say. But I have a feeling she doesn't want to have kids, if I had to really guess. But yeah, man, no prenup. Are you kidding, bro? Are you kidding? Somebody needs to save Destiny, okay? I'm gonna save him. I'm gonna save Destiny. You guys just watch, okay? Me, Destiny, together. Imagine the power couple, though. Just imagine. We need to get this guy in the gym, man. I know he said he's going, but we need to save him. Save him! Rivellino obviously tweeted out saying that Destiny failed the green line test, which, listen, boys, the green line test is very real, okay? If she wears Converse, stay the fuck away. The Destiny subreddit, something got posted there that's pretty funny. This person said, reminder that Destiny and Melina breaking up proves the red pill wrong. She shows a broke, jobless, suicidal, feminine twink over a more masculine, confident, clouded up multimillionaire. There's no hypergamy or alpha fuck spada bucks here. This is an L for the likes of Myron and Rolo. I mean, I guess, but I feel like that's not the real takeaway here. Like, is really the first thing you need to be thinking about how this owns Fresh and Fit? Probably not. I feel like there's probably something else going on there that we should be talking about, rather than the fact that Fresh and Fit were wrong or something. Like, why are you even talking about that? Why does this have a few hundred upvotes? That's crazy. Well, obviously, I think that's something that a lot of people want me to do, is just bully Destiny, make fun of him for this, do the whole red pill, you know, cuck shtick. I mean, obviously, you can make jokes about that. I think they're pretty funny. I think the Meltime thing is funny, and there's probably 100 other clips you can find like that are funny that I'm gonna put in this video because that's keck.
I mean, I married her without a prenup, so I hope so.
But at the same time, I like Destiny. I've been on his streams before. He's been pretty amicable and nice to me. And even if he wasn't, I would still like him because I enjoy his content. Who he is as a person is someone I find very interesting and cool to talk to and pick his brain about things. I don't want to like prey on his downfall here or shit on him or cause some kind of issue for him. I don't even take pleasure in watching this happen because it's just kind of watching like a guy get a part of his life destroyed. I do not enjoy watching that happen, like almost regardless of who it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't take pleasure in that. Obviously, if you're gonna make fun of him, like I'm not gonna stop you. Like I'm gonna make fun of him a little bit. I'm gonna poke the fun a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up,
Anybody, and the guys like Sneeko and I guess Fresh and Fit and Destiny are kind of friendly, but the people who don't like them, right? You got to take your lumps. You know, they're gonna take the victory lap around you. It is what it is. Same thing with Zerka got beat up. Everybody didn't like him is gonna go after him. You know, it is what it is.
Let's get you in the gym, little guy.
Maybe we can get Destiny to stop eating Red 40 and start taking TRT. That'll fix the whole issue. But honestly, I hope that she doesn't take all of his money, because that would suck. I hope she doesn't get any money. Not only because she should not be having his money, considering how she treated him apparently. Yeah. I mean, she shouldn't be getting that money.
It's a 2-year marriage.
I just want to see the goat of YouTube politics.
No,
I'm glazing so hard right now, but that's the truth. I'm sorry, that is the truth. Now we also have this post. Apparently Hunter Avalon's relationship is also falling apart. If you guys don't know, he was like a conservative, kind of like Steven Crowder-ish type guy back in the day, who like has now gone like left wing. And well, his marriage fell apart.
Yeah, how he left the right.
A whole drama around that. But more recently, apparently his current girlfriend, who is named Holly, her ex-boyfriend Conrad showed up at his apartment with a shotgun. He shot through the building door, injuring Holly's leg in the process. He recorded the final moments in which they were hiding on a bit. Podcasts are coming out. There's actually 25 podcasts behind the members paywall that you guys can shit with under. Could it come back? Could it, you know, bye. And be sure to become a member. For $5 a month, they get the members only podcasts and exclusive videos that only members get.
Turkey
Thanks
Tom.
so much for your support.
Tom Dark. Same guy. All right. Good stuff. Let me stop. Yeah. So I can go. Good. Okay. So that doesn't. Let me see a few things here. Pages.
Then, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. Let's watch some TikToks. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing any of this shit today, so.
Excuse me, how are you?
Fine.
Where are you from?
Pakistan.
Pakistan किस city से हो आप?
Lahore.
अच्छा मैं सुन.
I spent $5,000 to hang out with this guy yesterday. Just so you guys know, I'm not bullshitting like most other people on the internet. And you may be asking, Sebastian, why in the fuck would you pay the price of a beat-up Honda Civic to hang out with a dude? Isn't that a little sus? Well, that dude is Badger's Coolian, and he's worth $200 million. He's huge in the fitness space, and
Those are things that I've read about my city that until this day affect me. That you did. What? You wrote those things. Why are you lying? You wrote those things.
I did.
Eagles don't have wings. You wrote those things.
I did say that.
Why don't they just clip them? You said those things.
I did say that.
Huh?
How did you find that?
You said those things.
That was a long time ago I wrote that article.
The city of brotherly love should be step brothers and sisters. They don't love each other. You said that.
I did say that.
You
These
said
are good
all those
burns.
mean things about my city.
I didn't know you knew that.
But now we are flying.
Question, do you guys have a problem with you saying these comments?
I do. I'm trying to figure out
I want you to lower your voice. Lower your voice. You're not talking to her. You're going to give me the respect that I deserve. Don't talk to me like I'm a man. Go ahead.
I have a problem with what he said. I'm trying to figure out how in God's name.
I'm done with you, Steve. Max.
Do you think that everybody should be speaking out about the Palestine, or do you think that Palestine?
Were you mad at me when you found out I started singing? No.
I hate ketchup. It's just sweet for no reason, but I do like ketchup seasoning, and they're wicked on fries.
Should you ever reheat fries?
You can if you want to.
Like, should you put it in the microwave?
Not the microwave, in the oven. The oven is the only way to do it.
Yo, I'm the big guy, Ryback, and this is exactly how much WWE royalties actually pays. So this was my last WWE royalty payment that I got the other month. A couple of